Thank you. लोचनदास ठाकुर की जय। परम करुणा बहुदुरी जन निताई गौर चंद्र। सबयावतार सार शिरोमणि केवलयानंद कंद। सार शिरोमणि केवलयानंद कंद। भजो भजो भाई चैतन्य निताय सुदृढ़ विश्वास घोरी। भजो भजो भाई चैतन्य निताय सुदृढ़ विश्वास घोरी। विषय छाड़िया सिरा से माझिया मुखे बोलो हरि हरि। विषय छाड़िया सिरा से माझिया मुखे बोलो हरि हरि। परम करुणा बहुदूरी जन निताई गौर चंद्र। परम करुणा बहुदूरी जन देखो रे भाई त्रिभुवने नाय एमन दयाल दाता। पशु पक्षी जुए पाषाण विदारे शुनि जार गुण गाथा। ओ परम करुणा बहुदूरी जन निताई गौर चंद्र। संसारे माझिया रोहिली पोरिया সেই পদ নাহি আশা। अपना करमे गुंजाए समान कोए लोचन दास। परम करुणा बहुदूरी जन निताई गौर चंद्र। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Jaya Radha Vrindavan Chandra Radha Vrindavan Chandra Radhe Radhe. Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Radhe Radhe. Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe Radhe. Jaya Radha Gopinath Radha Gopinath Radhe Radhe. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jayo Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajakacarya Ashtotter Shri Srimad Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ji ki Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya Acharya Guruvar ki Ananda Gaudi Vaishnava Vrinda ki. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayodire Shrinvanta Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtanam Hrudiyantasta Bhadrani Vidunoti Suhurutsata Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. So today we will be reading from Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto number 12, chapter number 3, verse number 51. Kaloir dosha nidhe rajan अस्ति हि एको महान् गुणः कीर्तनादेव कृष्णस्य मुक्तसङ्गः परं व्रजेत् कलेर्दोषनिधेराजन् अस्ति एको महान् गुणः कीर्तनादेव कृष्णस्य मुक्तसङ्गः परं व्रजेत् कलेर्दोषनिधेराजन् अस्ति एको महान् गुणः कीर्तनादेव कृष्णस्य मुक्तसङ्गः परं व्रजेत् कलेर्दोषनिधेराजन् अस्ति एको महान् गुणः कीर्तनादेव कृष्णस्य मुक्तसङ्गः परं व्रजेत् कलेर्दोषनिधेराजन् अस्ति एको महान् गुणः कीर्तनादेव कृष्णस्य मुक्तसङ्गः परं व्रजेत् माताजी कलेर्दोषनिधेराजन् अस्ति एको महान् गुणः कीर्तनादि कृष्णस्य मुक्तसङ्गः परं व्रजेत् कलेर्दोषनिधेराजन् अस्ति एको महान् गुणः कीर्तनादेव कृष्णस्य मुक्तसङ्गः परं व्रजेत्. Translation word to word. Kaleha, of the age of Kali, Dosha Nidaha, in the ocean of faults, Rajan, O king, Asti, there is, he, certainly, Ekaha, one, Mahan, very great, Gunaha, good quality, Kirtanat, by chanting, Eva, certainly, Krishnasya, of the holy name of Krishna, Mukta Sangaha, liberated from material bondage, Param, to the transcendental spiritual kingdom, Brajet, one can go. Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. My dear King, although Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults, we can repeat. My dear King, although Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults, there is still one good quality, about this age. Simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one can become free from material bondage and be promoted to the transcendental kingdom. Purport. After mentioning the innumerable faults of this age of Kali, Sukadeva Goswami now mentions its one brilliant aspect. Just as one powerful king can kill innumerable thieves, one brilliant spiritual quality can destroy all the contamination of this age. It is impossible to overestimate the importance of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Aradhyo Bhagwan Vrajesh Tanayas Tadham Vrindavanam Ramya Kachidupasna Vrajavadu Vargena Taya Kalpita Srimat Bhagavata Purana Malam Prema Pumartho Mahan Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhor Mataidam Nayatraya Graha Paraha Ajanulambito Bhujo Kanakaya Vidhato Sankirtane Pitaravo Kamalaya Taksho Vishwambharo Dvijavaro Yugadharma Palo Vande Jagata Priyakaro Karuna Avataro Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Navanirada Nindita Kanti Dharam Rasosagar Nagara Bhupavaram Shubhavam Kimacharu Shikhanda Sikkim Bhaja Krishna Nidhim Vrajaraj Sutam Radhika Sarodaindu Nindimukha Mandali Vandiye Shri Pada Padma Vrishabhanu Nandini Vandiye Shri Pada Padma Vrishabhanu Nandini. My humble obeisances unto all the assembled Vaishnavas, hundreds and thousands of obeisances to His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada and our Gaudiya Acharyas. I also beg for the intellect to speak on such an exalted subject matter, and may the words that flow from my mouth be pleasing to His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada and to our Gaudiya Acharyas. If there is anything that is likable, then it is all glories to our Gaudiya Acharyas, to Srila Prabhupada. And if there are any faults, I ask for forgiveness right away in the beginning, because I am indeed full of faults myself, but somehow or the other, I'm able to convey the message of this Srimad Bhagavatam in glorification of the holy names. So, in this verse, the summum bonum of a devotee's existence has been encapsulated. And the verse starts with Kaler Dosha Nidhe Rajan. This Kalyuga is an ocean of faults. Dosha. Dosh means faults. Krishna even uses that word in the Bhagavad Gita in that particular verse. What is that verse? That one should see the faults in birth, death, old age, and disease. And until and unless Anudarshanam, the word is Anudarshanam, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Dosha Anudarshanam. Until and unless we do not see the faults, whether material or spiritual, we cannot rectify the problem. We have to be aware of the nature of the problems. And this material world is full of problems. Padam padam tesham vipadam. Every step of the way there is a problem, because that is the nature of the material world. And it is an ocean of faults. Dosh. The word Kali means quarrel. Everybody is quarreling. Today we see even members of the same family cannot get along together. Friends cannot get along together. Communities cannot get along together. Countries cannot get along together, because that is the millennium where Sukadeva Goswami describes in the first canto that Prayana Alpa Aishya Sabya, O Rajan, O King, the lifespan is diminished in Kali Yuga. Manda, Sumanda Matayo, Manda Bhagya hi Upadritaha. People are lazy, Manda. Sumanda Matayo, they are misguided. Manda Bhagya, they are unfortunate. And Upadritaha, above all, they are disturbed. So these are the qualities that Vyasadeva had already mentioned 5,000 some odd years ago when he compiled the Srimad Bhagavatam on what the symptoms of Kali Yuga are. But as mentioned in the purport, after mentioning the innumerable faults of Kali Yuga, Sukadeva Goswami has described one great quality, Eko Asti Mahan Guna. One great quality. What is that? Kirtan Eva. Eva means certainly and only. Krishnasya. Mukta Sangha Param Vrajet. And the result is one will be freed from all material attachments and one will attain the highest destination. Now, of course, time is very limited, and this is such a wonderful verse that perhaps if this was a seminar, we could continue this for about 3-4 days just on this verse. But just to simply get the essence, no matter what our faults are, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the Audhari Avatar, the most munificent, Rupa Goswami describes him as Namo Mahavadanyaya, the most munificent. And what does he do? He doesn't give anything ordinary, like material opulences or even liberation in the upper planetary systems or in Vaikuntha. But what he is giving us is Krishna Prema Pradayate, Prakrishta Rupena Dayate iti Pradayate. Da means to donate in charity. And Prakrishta means extreme of the highest nature. Just like Prahlad. What does Prahlad mean? Prakrishta Rupena Allad iti Prahlad. Allad means joy. One who is always blissful. So a pure devotee is always full of joy. Brahma Bhuta Prasanna Atmana Sochati Na Kankshati Sama Sarveshu Bhuteshu Mad Bhaktir Labhate Para. So Prakrishta means extremely joy. It's full of joy. Even when his father, Hiranyakashipu, tried to kill him in several different ways, he never gave up his composure. He was always enjoying, always chanting the holy names of the Lord. Shri Hari, Shri Hari, Shri Hari, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So Pradayane means with extreme, not some ordinary charity. And that charity is freely is giving Krishna prem. And how is he doing it? With this method that is prescribed in this Kali Yuga, is the greatest quality is chanting of the holy names. There are so many negativities in Kali Yuga. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his most ecstasy, in his pastimes, in his internal mood, as we all know, Mahaprabhu came for external reasons and for internal reasons. External reason was to give the holy name. Ajano Lambito Bhujo Kanakayo Dhato. Vrindavan Das Thakur opens the Chaitanya Bhagavat with this verse in the Mangalacharan, that those two brothers whose arms are elongated to their names, Ajano Lambito Bhujo Kanakayo Dhato, who have got a golden complexion. Sankirtanai Pitaro, they are the founders or the fathers of the Sankirtan movement. Kamala Yatakshara, with beautiful lotus-like, lotus petal eyes. Vishwambharo Dvijavaro, they are indeed the maintainers of the universes and the topmost Brahmins, topmost Vaishnavas, Dvijavaro, Yuga Dharma Palo. They are the ones who propagated the Yuga Dharma of chanting of the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. One day, Jagat Priya Karo Karuna Avtaru. Vrindavan Das Thakur says, I offer my obeisances unto the most munificent avatar, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. Jagat Priya, and they are very much liked by the entire creation. And Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu are even more merciful than Krishna himself. Why is that? Because Mahaprabhu is none other than Nandanandan Sri Krishna, Vrajendra Nandan Sri Krishna, Vrindavan Chandra Sri Krishna, in the mood of Sri Radha. And Radharani is the most compassionate. So there is no comparison. She is even more compassionate than Krishna. And when Krishna takes her mood and the internal reasons of his appearances, that he came to glorify Radharani's prem. He came to taste his own sweetness. And he came to understand, what does she feel, Radharani, when she tastes my sweetness. And this is what he came to give the whole world, which is Prakrishna Rupena Daine Pradayine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayine. Jadi Gorna Hoito Tabeki Hoito Kemone Taritam De Radhar Mahima Prema Rasha Sima Jagata Janatake. If Gauranga Mahaprabhu did not appear, Vasu Ghosh Prabhu, one of the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he writes in this wonderful kirtan, if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not appear, Jadi Gorna Hoite Tabeki Hoito, what would have happened? Radhara Mahima, the glories of Radharani, Prema Rasha Sima, the zenith or the crescendo of the highest love, how would the world have known? Jagata Janatake. So, although we have so many faults in Kali Yuga, this is the greatest quality. And Mahaprabhu, in his ecstasy in the last 12 years when he was residing in Jagannath Puri, for the three internal reasons, he himself took shelter of the holy name. Krishna himself takes shelter of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Because this holy name is like a kalpavriksha. It is Hare and Krishna. And the general meaning, we all know that the word Hara means Radharani. But actually, if we analyze and read the books of the Goswamis, and Jiva Goswami has given a wonderful explanation, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his wonderful different treatises on the holy name, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and of course, His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada in his purports, in his wherever, and every morning Prabhuji reads from the Harinam Chintamani, were different selected verses of Srila Prabhupada that glorify the holy name. So this holy name, Hare Krishna, just when we chant the 16-letter Mahamantra, that encompasses first all the internal energies of Sri Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has mentioned that in the second verse of the Chaitanya Sistastakam. Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija. Very, very important word. Sarva Shaktis. Especially when it comes to the consciousness of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. This is a very, Prabhupada is so amazing that he has, even prior to coming to ISKCON, right from our college days and childhood, we used to read many different philosophical books. And I was also born in a Vaishnava family in the Pusti Marg Sampradaya, Sri Vallabh Sampradaya. But never, ever, ever I had the opportunity to understand Krishna consciousness as properly as after I came to ISKCON by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and his sincere disciples. That philosophy, that tattva is very important. And then when we understand Jai Krishna Tattva Veti Shai Guru Hoya, Prabhupada said you all become gurus. Guru means one who brings anybody closer to Krishna. That is one of the definitions. Actually, somebody had asked Srila Prabhupada's senior godbrother, Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, who is Guru? Many years ago, I had read that. And in one line, he had explained that Guru is somebody who brings us closer to Krishna. Beautiful definition. Srila Prabhupada was very fond of Sridhar Maharaj. And of course, you know, he was a very leading disciple of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. As a matter of fact, he was so scholarly in Sanskrit that he composed many verses glorifying Mahaprabhu, glorifying Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. But anyways, the point is that the word Hara means the internal potencies, and for us, it means the Vraj Gopis, led by Srimati Radharani. Because the Hare Krishna Mahamantra always existed since time immemorial. It is something that comes from the spiritual strata. There's a conversation between Lord Brahma and Naradji in the Kali Shantaran Upanishad in some Satya Yuga. So it is not that the Mahamantra did not exist, but the consciousness was different. It is only by the mercy of Srila Madhvendra Puripad, the Param Gurudev of Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, actually the Krishna Prem in Vraj Bhav, especially in the Madhurya Ras, was manifest. And then through the medium of Ishwar Puripad, the Supreme Lord Nanda Nandan in the form of Mahaprabhu accepted him as his Guru. And when he gave him that Mahamantra, when he went to Gaya to offer oblations to his father who had passed away, Sri Jagannath Mishra, as a dutiful son, he went. Although it is not necessary, because Lord Jagannath Mishra is none other than Nanda Maharaj. So there's no necessity for somebody to offer oblations by going to Gaya. But just as a dutiful son, he did that to keep his mother's wish. And when he went there, he met Ishwar Puripad. And when he went to Ishwar Puripad, and prior to that, he was known as Nimai Pandit. And Nimai Pandit means he was scholarly. He was into Nyai. Nyai means logic. And he used to teach, and there was a toll in Navadvip, or kind of a school. In Bangla, it is called toll, where there are students, and Nimai Pandit used to teach them the Vedas and the grammar and so many different nuances in the Vedic literatures. And then when he came back, when he got the Hare Krishna Mahamantra from Ishwar Puripad, he was just chanting that in ecstasy, rolling on the ground. Tears were flowing. Nayanam galada sudara, vadanam gadgadaru dayagira, pulkir nichitam vapukada, tavanama grinishu bhavashyati. That's those symptoms that he expressed. And everybody in Navadvip, especially the students and all, they started losing respect for him. He said, Nimai Pandit has gone mad. You know, he's supposed to be teaching us, but he's only chanting the holy names. He's only rolling on the ground, and that's all he's doing. And some of them even complained to Sachi Mata that what is wrong with him. And when Srivas Pandit Acharya, when he found out, he says, I wish I could get that madness. Because he could understand, Advaita Acharya could understand what that madness is about chanting the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So Mahaprabhu, in the last 12 years, he locked himself up in a very small room in the Gambhira, not too far from the main temple, in Kasi Mishra's house. And there, along with his two most intimate associates, Sarup Damodarji and Rai Ramanan, who are none other than Lalita Sakhi, Radharani's and Vishakha. They are the incarnations. And they were chosen in particular after going into reclusive bhajan because they could fan that prema that he was trying to achieve and feel. Only they could understand the deeper nuances of Krishna prema because they are there with Radharani. And of course, the other gopis in the form of Manjaris who are our Gaudiya acharyas like Rupa Manjari, Labanga Manjari, Sanatan Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, etc. All these, Jiva Goswami, Vilas Manjari, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Ananga Manjari, and Bhakti Vinod Thakur is Kamla Manjari, our Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is Nayana Manjari. And Srila Prabhupada was asked, what is your position in this in Golok Vrindavan or in the spiritual world? And he says, if I tell you, you will faint. So Prabhupada ji kept that a secret. But obviously we know he is a dear servant of Nayana Manjari. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi. Actually, some of us, we mispronounce. We say Saraswati Devi. It is not Saraswati, it is Saraswati Devi. It is Sanskrit. It is grammar where the son of Vasudeva is known as Vasudeva. Right? Krishna is also known as Vasudeva. When the A comes with the on top with the line. So similarly, Prabhupada is Saraswati Devi, which means the transcendental son of Saraswati Thakur. So we offer our obeisances unto the transcendental son of Saraswati Thakur, meaning Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So if he is an intimate associate of Nayana Manjari, so obviously, who is under the guidance of Rup Manjari and Kamla Manjari, our Srila Prabhupada is indeed in the highest rasa, definitely, perhaps in more than one rasa. That Srila Prabhupada, because Krishna cannot stay without certain devotees and associates, and sometimes he wants them in more than one rasa. But definitely he is in the Madhuri rasa in Golok Vrindavan, and a very, very close servitor of these Manjaris headed by Rupa Manjari, who is a servitor of Lalita Sakhi. And that way, in the service of Radha Vrindavan Chandra, the service of Radha Krishna, they are perfect. We sing that every day in the Mangalarti. Nikunja yuno ratikeli siddhya yaya alibir yuktir apekshaniya tatra ati dakshat ati vallavasya vande guru Shri Charnaravinda. Vishwanath Chakravarti Bad has wonderfully composed this for all. Vande Guroho. It is for all the acharyas. It is not Vande Guru. Again, sometimes we have the tendency to mispronounce. If we look at the board, it is Guroho, G-U-R-O-H. And Guroho means all our Gaudiya Vaishnava acharyas. All of them. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Bad is offering obeisances to all of those because he knows he himself is a Manjari. He himself is a Gopi in the service of Sri Radha. So he recognizes and offers obeisances unto all those Vaishnava, Gaudiya Vaishnava acharyas. So when we chant Hare, our acharyas have explained in a deeper way. That means all the internal potencies, as Mahaprabhu explains, that means all the gopis and the manjaris are present in the word Hara. And the highest gopi or the topmost gopi is Sri Radha. So generally we translate it as Hare means, we are addressing Radha. But how do we approach Sri Radha? We approach it through the parampara. Like even Narottam Das Thakur says in his bhajan, that famous, what is that song? Radha Krishna Pranamora, Jugala Kishora, where he is, there is a Bhajan Lalsa in the book known as Prarthana. It's a composition of wonderful bhajans by Narottam Das Thakur. Like we sing that every morning, the Guru Puja is from a book called Prarthana, composed by Narottam Das Thakur Mahashay. And there he is saying in the last two lines, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Dase Anudas Seva Adhikara Diye Narottam Das. Narottam Das Thakur is hankering for service from the servants of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now, if we analyze who are the servants of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu is Radha Govinda, Radha Krishna, Radha Vrindavan Chandra, right? So the servants of Radha Vrindavan Chandra or Radha Krishna are the most intimate servants are those manjaris or those gopis, along with the Ashtasakhis that serve who they are. Radharani has some very intimate sakhis. They are known as Swapaksha gopis. Swapaksha means her own camp. And then there is Vipaksha gopis, gopis that are in the opposite camp, like Chandravali, Shaibya. Radharani's cousin also has an amorous relationship with Krishna. So, but she takes Krishna away from Radharani. So for us, Raghunath Das Goswami says, we do not even look at the trees or even the leaves that grow in Chandravali's Kund. One time at Radha Kund, we all know how exalted his renunciation was, Raghunath Das Goswami. All he used to take is a couple buttermilk cups, and that's all. And he used to chant 18, 19 hours a day on the banks of Radha Kund. And he was in ecstasy because he is none other than Rati Manjari or Tulsi Manjari. And in separation, he has composed this great book, Vilap Kusum Manjali, where there is a garland of separation. Wonderful verses in the separation of Radha Krishna. And just in separation, he was chanting the holy names. And the devotees used to bring, for Baba, known as Baba, Raghunath Das Babaji Maharaj. Babaji, here is one day one devotee came and brought some buttermilk. And it was in a leaf cup. Even when we go to Vrindavan, we find that, the plates are made of leaf and they're known as donas, the cups. So in a leaf cup, when Raghunath Das Goswami saw the leaf cup, he recognized that these leaves are not from our Radharani's Kunja or anywhere that is conducive. These come from the Kunja of Chandravali. And he threw that away in disgust. Take it away. I'm not interested. And he went hungry. Don't you ever do that again. So, and that's the same mood of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Radha Dasyam, of a very, very high nature. And this Hare Krishna Mahamantra can not only eradicate what Mahaprabhu said, the different misgivings or the anarthas, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, Bhava Mahadava, Agni Nirvapana. That is just one small effect. That is, of course, it's a great thing for us because we are full of anarthas. Anarthas that arise from Brahma, meaning illusion. Anarthas that arise from Tuchha Asakti, meaning attachment to material things that are so cheap that will keep us again and again. We will be reborn in this material world. Apradhs, different kind of offenses to the holy name. There are 10 offenses to the Vaishnavas, offenses to the Jivas, offenses to the holy Dham, offenses to Bhagavat, meaning to Krishna himself. So these are different. And then the fourth kind of anartha is known as the Hruday Durbalya, meaning the weakness in the heart. So Mahaprabhu has recommended first when he's in his ecstasy, when he was chanting in the last chapter of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the Anta Leela, 20th chapter is all about the glorification of the holy name. Cheto Darpanam Arjanam Bhava Mahadava Agni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidya Vadu Jivanam Ananda Ambudi Vardhanam Pratipada Purna Mritswadanam Sarvatma Snapannam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. The last line is Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. What is that? There are many, many deeper meanings, but the general meaning is that it will make us victorious when we chant the holy name. It will make us victorious of the material senses and attachment to the material things. We will be victorious, the impression of Maya or the clutches of Maya, we will be victorious over Maya. That's one simple meaning. But as we understand the Chaitanya Sistagram, that is the first thing that Mahaprabhu recommends, that cleanse, and that is why chant the holy names. It is like as if there is one medicine for so many different diseases or ailments. So the first is that getting eradication of our anarthas. Kalau dosha nidhe rajan eko asti mahan gun. The greatest quality is chanting of the holy names. Although we may have hundreds and millions of faults or anarthas. And then what is the result? The positivity is that Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. Now, our Rasikacharyas have given a wonderful meaning of Shreya Kairava Chandrika. Shreya Kairava Chandrika. Chandrika means the cooling effect or the full moon. And when on a full moon, like for example, there are certain white lilies that blossom at night. And the full moon is none other than the representation of Lord Nityananda. Lord Nityananda, Narottam Das Thakur, in one of his bhajans, he says, Nitai Padakamalam Koti Chandra Shushitala Jay Chaya Jagata Judai Heno Nitai Vinebhai Radha Krishna Paitinai Drida Gori Dharo Nitai Pai. Sri Prabhupada has also sung this, and wonderful purports. After singing, Prabhupada has given several purports on this Nitai Padakamala song. So, Lord Nityananda is the Adi Guru. He is the Adi Guru, not only because he is present in all the 5 rasas. He is present in the Shant rasa, the neutrality. He is present in the Dasya rasa. In servitorship, he is present in the Sakhya rasa, in the fraternity or friendship. He is present in the Vatsalya rasa, in the parenthood love for Krishna, and he is also present in the Madhurya rasa. So, to quickly summarize these 5 rasas that Lord Nityananda or Lord Balram is, that in the state of neutrality, he is present in the hearts of the different yogis as the expansion of Shirodaksai Vishnu, and he is giving them, and the yogis or the persons who are simply meditating, they are the persons in Shantrasa. So they get the satisfaction by taking darshan of the expansion of Lord Balram as Shirodaksai Vishnu, or commonly known as Paramatma. Then in Dasya Rasa, Lord Balram is none other than transformed into paraphernalia like the kartals, the mridanga, all the different paraphernalia that we use on the altar. He is present in those forms. That is why we have to be extremely careful when we sometimes find paraphernalia lying on the floor. These are incarnations of Lord Balram. Somebody by mistakes put the kartals on the floor. Very reverentially, we should pick it up, put it to our heads, and offer it a higher position. The mridanga should always be put on a seat or on a mat, covered with a cloth, because those are all incarnations of Lord Balram. And in so many, he serves Krishna. Then in the Sakyaras, he is of course his friend, his brother, his Sakha. And then in the Vatsalyaras, he is like a father, because when he goes cow herding, Mother Yashoda and Rohini Mata and Nanda Baba tells him that, Krishna is very naughty. We are not there in the forest. You please take care of him in our place. So he expresses that parental love and the care. And then in the Madhurya Rasa, in the conjugal Rasa, he is none other than Ananga Manjari. So he is the Guru with all the rasas. If one surrenders to Lord Balram, one can get Krishna, the service of Krishna. And it doesn't matter in which rasa. But as far as we are concerned, we are Gaudiya. So for us, the Gaudiya rasas, as I was mentioning earlier, that in the Kali Santara Upanishad, the Mahamantra is mentioned. But what is the consciousness? The consciousness is mostly Dasya rasa, Vaikuntha Bhava. So it is not that the Mahamantra just came into existence after Mahaprabhu. No, since time immemorial it existed. And there's a conversation between Naradji and Brahmaji in the Kali Shantaran Upanishad, that how will the souls in Kali Yuga be delivered, O Lord Brahma? So then he says, Lord Brahma, it is through the Shadadosha mantra, with the 16-lettered mantra, which is the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And in that consciousness, most of the devotees prior to Madhendra Puripad, they chanted when they said Hare. Hare means the internal potency of Lord Narayana of Vaikuntha. We have to try to understand this. This is a little bit deeper that I am trying to express in this class here. Because Hara means, that is the reason. Why is it that Mahaprabhu, or as a matter of fact, the Mahamantra doesn't contain Radha Krishna, Radhe Radhe. Instead that is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. So therefore, Radharani is extremely humble. She always wants to glorify her associates. That's one of the, or Lakshmi Devi in Vaikuntha. She wants that everybody should get credit or service. So when anybody who serves Krishna, they are reverential even for Radharani, even they are glorious. So therefore, the word Hara encompasses all the associates of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whether in Vaikuntha or in Goloka. So when those devotees were chanting in that consciousness, Hara means all the different servitors of Lakshmi, of Narayana or Vishnu, and headed by Sri Lakshmi or Mahalakshmi. And Krishna means the all-attractive Lord of Vaikuntha. Krish means attractive, and Na means all. So the Lord in Vaikuntha also attracts many wonderful jivas. So that is why the Lord of Vaikuntha is also aptly known as Krishna. And vice versa, Vishnu, is also, actually I'm running out of time. Vishnu, we say Vrindaya Tulsi Devaya Priyaya Keshavasya Vishnu Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavatya Namo. Now this is from the Purans and it is in the Vaikuntha consciousness. But why do we Gaudiya Vaishnavas have selected that particular verse with the name Vishnu? Because Sanatana Goswami explains, especially in the 6th verse of the Damodar Ashtakam, Namo Deva Damodar Ananta Vishnu. That word comes, right? Ananta Vishnu. So what has us got to do with Vishnu being the followers of Mahaprabhu, being Rupanugas? We are not worshippers of Vishnu. Honestly speaking, we are worshippers of Radha Krishna in Braj. So here Sanatana Goswami in the Digdarshini, he explains that Vishnu meaning in English, if we translate, even Srila Prabhupada in his translation, means all pervading. One who is present everywhere. Just like when Prahlad Maharaj was asked by Hiranyakashipu, is your Lord present in this pillar? He said he is present everywhere. So that omnipresence is translated into Sanskrit as Vishnu. So now, when Satyavrat Muni has already rejected in the 4th verse, liberation in Vaikuntha, nacha vrine aham vara ishada piya. And I pray to you that I do not want even liberation in Vaikuntha or even the bhakti, nacha anya. Sanatana Goswami explains the word anya as not even the bhakti of Prahlad or Dhruv, because that will take me to Vaikuntha. And I'm not interested in that. Idam te vapurnatham gopala balam sada me manasi avirashtam kimanya. I want that I should always, that wonderful pastimes of Sri Krishna, especially the childhood pastimes in Gokul, they always eternally manifest in my heart. That is my desire. If you want to give me that, you give me that. Otherwise, I'm not interested in anything else that you've offered. By the way, Sanatana Goswami explains that this is a subtle conversation between Satyavrat Muni and Krishna, the Damodar Ashtaka, as if it's a conversation. So Krishna is offering all these things and he's rejecting. But then Krishna is saying, what else? What can I give you then? So then he says that give me Vraj Bhav. That's what I want. So, but then if he has given up the other bhavs of Vaikuntha, then why is he using the word Vishnu in the 6th verse? So Sanatana Goswami is saying Vishnu means the all-pervading Nandanandan, Vrindavan Chandra, who is simultaneously present in Vraj in many prakostas. Sometimes he's at the bank of the Jamuna, sometimes he's simultaneously present at Radhakund, he's present in the different areas of Govardhan, in Barsana, in Nangram, in Ter Kadam, and so many places of Vraj, performing his pastimes to satisfy his devotees simultaneously. Therefore, he is Vishnu. He is simultaneously present everywhere in Braj. So that is the explanation that Sanatana, and that is why the Gaudiya Vaishnavas like this Damodar Ashtakam, which is a very old from the Purans, which is something that even the Sri Sampradaya and so many others Vaishnava Sampradayas sing. But why the Gaudiya Sampradaya is in Mahaprabhu's line is because of the Vraj Bhav. that is expressed by Satyavrat Muni. So Hare Krishna, the word Hara, for those who were chanting prior to Madhavendra Puri Path, it was the consciousness of Lakshmi Narayan and the associates of Lakshmi Narayan. But by the mercy of Mahaprabhu, and that Vraj Prem came, and that Hara means that Nam Nam Bahuda Nija Sarvasakti. So that is something we have to read in between the lines. Nija means my own internal potencies, and when Mahaprabhu is saying, it means it is Vraj Bhav. That means it is the Madhurya Rasa and the gopis that are led by Srimati Radha. So when we chant the word Hare, that means we are addressing first our acharyas, who are none other than the sweet and intimate associates as Swapaksha gopis of Sri Radha. That includes His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, etc., all the way to Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, and then it goes to the lotus feet of Sri Radha. So Hare, that's why we address Hare Krishna. And of course, Krishna, there are many types of Krishna Prabhupada has mentioned, especially if one reads the purport of Srila Prabhupada, and when he has sung the bhajan, Bhajahu Re Mana Sri Nanda Nandana Abhay Charana Ravindare. So Prabhupada starts with that. Bhajahu Re Mana, you have to convince your mind, you have to plead to your mind, please worship Nanda Nandan, the son of Nanda Maharaj. And Prabhupada then says there are many types of Krishna, but we are only concerned with the son of Nanda Maharaj. So this is Vraj Bhav, this is Gaudiya Bhav, Gaudiya Ras. That is why when we chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we are addressing automatically all his internal energies, including our Guru Varga is present in the word Hara, along with Sri Radha. Because when Prabhupada also says, when you say Krishna, it is like the Prime Minister or the President. They never travel alone. They have their own entourage. They have their paraphernalia. The entire entourage is there. When supposing if they say the President of the United States is going to visit Japan, if that's the headlines in the New York Times or in the CNN on headlines. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. Time up, right? Oh, I thought you were showing me the time. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, very well. So it means that they do not have to list all the different advisors and the different White House staff and all the different defense people that are traveling with the president. It is already understood that his associates are going to be there. So when we say Krishna, when we are talking about the Krishna, meaning as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we are talking about Nandanandan Krishna, we are talking about Vrindavan Chandra Krishna, then automatically the associates of Krishna, including Srila Prabhupada and all the acharyas who are none other than the close, intimate gopis, who are the servitors of Radharani, and Radharani are included. So similarly, when we are chanting in that bhav, then we not only eradicate all our anarthas, which is just a very, very small aspect, but the highest aspect is obtaining that Vraj bhav when we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That is why it is Ekosthi Mahan Guna. Not only because it eradicates our misgivings and anarthas and our faults, but it gives us the highest, it can give us the highest. And that is the reason. And the Rama in the Mahamantra. So some people ask Prabhupada, what does Ram mean? So Prabhupada said in the beginning, because the Ram, he said, you can take it as Lord Ramachandra or Balram. That's okay. Now, that is absolutely correct. But also it depends on the consciousness of the person chanting the name. Just a couple more minutes and I will end today's katha. The consciousness is what? When somebody calls out the name, for example, if I call out the name of Vanmali Prabhu. So Vanmali Prabhu is looking at me and there he is, folding his hands. So he is acknowledging that I'm calling out his name and it has drawn attention when I called his name. Or when I say Lakshman Prabhu. So Lakshman Prabhu is looking at me, with more intensity or with more attention because I called his name out. Now, sometimes I like to give this example to make it a little more simpler. At home, practical example. In the morning at about 7:30, if some person's daughter says, Papa, so immediately from the word Papa, the word she's using is Papa. The father understands, oh, I'm late, I have to drop her to school. She has not even said anything more. Just looking at the time, that consciousness, oh, I have to drop her to school. And then in the evening, as an example, she says, Papa. So see, and now it's time to put her to bed and read her a Krishna story. So it's the same name, but the consciousness is, what is the consciousness behind calling out that name? So this is very important. So the devotees who are in the Sri Sampradaya and other Vaishnava Sampradayas, when they are chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamant, their consciousness is Lakshmi Narayana. But our consciousness is that, oh, Srila Prabhupada, Hara or Hare, the energies, the internal energies of Sri Krishna, including the Parampara, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Dasya Anudas, Seva Adhikara Diye Karo, Seva Adhikara Diye Narottam Das, please give me the opportunity to serve in this Guru Parampara, in this line of Manjaris, whether here, when I'm here in this material world, or when I get entrance into the spiritual Golok Vrindavan. So that is the consciousness. When we are chanting the Mahamantra, our consciousness should be, dear Srila Prabhupada, dear Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, dear Guru Parampara, please engage me in Radharani's and Radha Vrindavan Chandra's service. That is the consciousness. That is the main point that I'm trying to drive home. And the words are the same, but the consciousness can be different. Somebody's chanting the word Hare, it could be consciousness of Vaikuntha. But a pure devotee in the Gauriya Parampara, in the line of Mahaprabhu, when he's chanting Hare, it means that he is addressing all the Vande Guroho Sri Charnaravinda. And when he's chanting Krishna, he's not thinking of any Krishna without Radharani. It is the Nandanandan Krishna who is always in amorous sports with Radha and the gopis. And Rama, in particular, coming back to the last part that I mentioned, what is our consciousness? As we mature, right now we are in sadhana bhakti. And when we perform our sadhana bhakti perfectly, then we will, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, Chakshudana Dilojai Janme Janme Prabhu Shahi Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashito. That divine knowledge will manifest in our hearts. And what is that divine knowledge? It is Raganuga Bhakti or Ragatmika Bhakti, which they are eagerly waiting to give us, to open more doors. As we mature, just like a son, as he matures, he graduates and further graduates, the father is going to reveal him more secrets about the business. When he's a child, father doesn't care to explain how the money is made or who the customers are or where he buys the products. But I'm giving a mundane example, but as he matures, as he graduates, he understands business. Father will explain, hey, that's a great customer. You take care of him nicely. Sometimes he's going to bargain, but let him bargain. That's fine. But we should not lose his business. But this fellow, you be very careful. He's always going to cut the price in half. So you always tell him double the price. So he's going to give him, as he matures, he's going to give him more secrets of the business. So similarly, our acharyas, once we qualify nicely, we will enter into the Raganuga Bhakti. And when we enter the Raganuga Bhakti, the word Rama, as our acharyas have explained, is the one who sports with Sri Radha, which is Radha Raman. Radharani has mentioned this when she actually, when Krishna disappears after the Ras Leela, and then Krishna follows her into the forest. And then when all the gopis are coming behind, and when Krishna finds out that, oh, everybody will see that I'm treating Radharani very specially, so then they will feel some envy towards Radha. So Krishna had that in mind, so he disappears again. So at that time, Radharani starts crying. This is in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And she addresses with Krishna with the following words, Ha Natha Ramana Preshta. So Raman is a short form of Ram. There are many different meanings of the word Ram. Ranjayati, Ramyati, Iti Rama, one who sports with or one who gives pleasure to his devotees. That is also the meaning of the word Ram. But Raman, one of the abbreviations of Raman is Ram. So Ha Natha Ramana Preshta. Oh my dear Raman, you were just sporting with me, you were just carrying me, you were taking care of me, and you were playing with me, and you were tying my braid, you're putting some flowers, and you were joyfully playing with you. Raman, Preshta. Preshta means very dear. Kwasi, where are you? Where are you? Mahabaho, oh mighty armed one. Just a few minutes ago, you carried me. So here she's eulogizing Krishna's strength. She was tired and she could not walk anymore. So Krishna carried Radharani further deeper into the forest. So that Ram is Raman. Ram means the Madhurya, Sri Radhika Madhoyor Para Madhurya Leela Guna Rupana. So that is the highest concept of the Gaudiya Vaishnavism when we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So Ekasti Mahan Gun, this great quality, not only eradicates our negativities, but it gives us the highest positivity, which is the service of Radha Vrindavan Chandra. In Golok Vrindavan or in Vrindavan, regardless of where we are situated, or in New Vrindavan, which is non-different from Sri Vrindavan. Srila Prabhupada said that. And of course, we feel that. I'm so fortunate that for many years I've been coming here on and off. And actually, my spiritual life really got nourished in New Vrindavan. Because I used to, as a bachelor, come here probably 8 times a year. And sometimes I would decide I would stay for 1 week. I would end up staying for 2 months. And sometimes I would come in the Christmas months. In the winter, nobody. The lodge was closed. There was just that Arjun Prabhu was there and that the temple room was there. Radha Swami would be in room number 9. And like that, we had very good association with Varsana Swami. And on Christmas Day, all the devotees of New Vrindavan, the residents would come. But it was so powerful, the association at that time and the influence of Radha Vrindavan Chandra, that it gave me a lot of spiritual Shakti. And even now, as I'm here, I really feel so super surcharged. I'll be extremely unhappy when I leave, which probably is going to happen today. So I seek your blessings of all the Vaishnavas so that I may continue my journey in my Krishna consciousness life. And I thank our administration at ISKCON New Vrindavan to give me this opportunity to speak Hari Katha. It is for my purification I do that. So thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. Kalau dosha nidhe rajan eko astir mahan guna kirtan eva krishnasya mukta sangha param vraje. And what is the final result is we will be detached from all material engagements and we will get the highest destination. Highest destination is Golok Vrindavan. It is Vraj. That's where the highest destination is. So, and highest destination means also the service of Sri Radharani and Krishna. In the Gaudiya Ras, the service of Mahaprabhu. That is the highest destination. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Thank you all very much. So I know it is late, but I don't mind staying back if somebody has a question or a clarification, or if there are any mistakes, any corrections, please. Yes, Mataji, do you have a microphone for her? Or you can take this. Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for your blessings. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Shiki Mai Mataji. Jai. Is there anybody else that would like to? Yes, Prabhu. Danvats Prabhuji, all glory to Shri Prabhupada. Very, very nice question. So the question is, we have some listeners on, I think, on the media. So in case if this was not audible, question Prabhuji asked is that why not just chant Krishna Krishna? Kirtan eva Krishnasya, the verse says. So why we have to chant in other syllables of the Mahamantra, the 16 syllables? So first of all, I just mentioned a few minutes ago, in our bhav of Vraj bhav, Krishna is never alone. He's always with his associates. So therefore the word Hara is must. And without his associates, we cannot get direct service of Krishna. You have to go become Das Anu Das Anu Das. That is the most simple explanation. But again, when we come from the point of the Gaudiya Rasa, it is because they are experts. Tatra ati dakshat ati vallabhasya. They are experts in the service. Nikunja rati keli siddhya. Nikunja They are experts in the service in the conjugal ras, Madhurya ras, serving them in the confidential pastimes in the bowers of Sri Vrindavan Dham, the Nikunjas. And they are experts. Rati keli, the amorous pastimes, they have understood it so perfectly that they do not have to be told that do this or do that. Therefore, they're also known as kinkaris. They're always excited to do service after service after service after service. Kim means what and Kari means what. Kim means what and Kari means do. What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? So therefore, we have to, in order to obtain that seva, we have to be trained. We need that mercy. And unless and until we do not we get the mercy of the intimate associates of Krishna or Radharani, then we will never be able to be perfectly trained in that seva. So like Srila Prabhupada trained us, Sri Vigraha Aradhana Nityanana Sringara Tan Mandir Marjanado Yuktascha Bhaktascha Ninjatopi Vande Guru Sri Charanaravindam. Right? How Prabhupada taught us how to greet the deities, how to decorate them, and so many other different nuances or the different dimensions of how to serve Radha Krishna. So similarly, if we do not take their mercy, then how will we? So that is why we address Hara or Hare first. And that is headed by Sri Radha and all her intimate associates. That includes our Gaudiya Acharyas. So without them, we cannot. Yasya prasadat bhagavad prasado, yasya aprasadan nagati kutopi, dayan stuvam seshastri samtyam, vande guru Sri Charana. Right? We sing that the last verse. That yasya prasadat, by your mercy, we get Krishna's mercy. Right? So directly we cannot get the mercy. We have to go through the proper channel. So that is the reason why the Mahamantra has these. And the Mahamantra, there are much more deeper meanings, but again, we are out of time. But this is what I could, in the short time that I could explain to the best of my ability. But I hope that satisfies your query, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. So thank you all very much for attending and giving me your blessings. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.